Welcome to Deep Thought, the war for the mind. Now, this is kind of a follow-up to the philosophy piece, right? Because I want to talk about the war to influence how you're thinking. Because you have all these isms out here, and people think this war, this battle is about some physical thing, right? You know, guns and all of that. But that's not, you know what, that's the lowest form of a war. The real war is in your mind. The real war is for your mind. The weapons of these wars are whatever can deliver ideas. This video is a weapon, or podcast rather, is a weapon. You know, the written word is a weapon. You know, having a conversation with somebody to try to sway them to your point of view or to your ism, and I don't mean that ism in terms out of pimp say it, but that ism in terms of whether you follow some type of philosophy, conservatism, liberalism, whatever. It's all to get you to think the way that they want you to think. And when I say they, it's not necessarily meaning the elite or the Illuminati or whatever you want to call them, but it could be the person that you stay in the house with. There could be a war going on there. You got two people, a man and a woman, fighting over a mental battle on who's going to have whose way, whose agenda is going to be followed. That's a war from the mind on a micro level. And then you got kids who start getting their own mind, and they're a little bit more compliant because they depended on you for food and substance. Which incidentally, a philosopher, John Baines, said, kids don't really love you until they're out of the house. But until they're about the age of 18 or whenever they leave, they just depended on you. They can't truly love you until you take that factor away, and then they can truly get to know you and decide what they want. Just to let y'all know, especially for some of these young girls think they're going to get some kid or something, this kid is going to love them. Not automatically, they just depended on you. You just breast to them right now. But that's an aside. That's a little tangent. I know how I do on this channel, but it's ultimately a war for the mind. See, you know what? And I thought about this one time. I was, I watch some shows. I like watching This Is Life with Lisa Ling because she gets into subcultures and stuff, and they have a great interest in subcultures. Actually, it's gonna blow your mind. The real reason I have an interest in subcultures, I'm gonna see. Yeah, it'll blow your fucking minds. But anyway, that's one of those things I don't know if I can share. I shouldn't even say it that much, but I put it out there. But anyway, right? She did a segment on the Patriot movement. And you got these cats out here, they got their guns in case something happened. They can defend themselves against the government gets out of control or whatnot. Which I think is interesting because I'm like, okay, y'all got all these drills, but like Mike Tyson said about plans in boxing and stuff, plans go out the door when you get hit. And for them, they think really they're going to maintain, those guns are going to help them maintain a way of life. And, first of all, actual shooting war and stuff, the government got helicopter gunships and drones. They might not even bother they just send a couple drones with a couple missiles and that take them out. Because honestly, with drones and stuff, the U.S. could probably take out ISIS if they really wanted to. Notice I said if they really wanted to, but that gets in a whole other conversation. Today I'm talking about war for the mind. You have people out here and they got their guns and stuff, but I'm saying, that's not how they're going to come at you. See, if you want to change, if you want to make a difference, you got to keep an idea alive. You gotta have the idea. You gotta be willing to keep it alive and also transmit that idea to the next generation. Because the real war is the propaganda. It's the mind thing. And I've talked about this before, but it just came to me to reiterate that, especially when we head into a future, which I predict will be all about the philosophy and people uniting around a particular idea. See, a person, you thinking, okay, I got these guns and everything. That's cool. But if people, all they have to do is don't even come after you. Shoot, all they have to do is project their ideas of what they want. That's why I probably like the whole net neutrality thing. I mean, that's significant, because then you can start censoring people. You can control the ideas. You can control the narratives. You have an upper hand in the fight for people's minds. But that's where the battle is, because there's always something. I mean, and it's not always about necessary malicious thing. It could be just a battle to get you to buy their product. It could be something like Coke versus Pepsi or something. Well, I'm going to get you to buy this. That's what advertising is. I'm going to get you to buy this or get you to shop here. And, everything is used to try to sway your opinion. Like, one of the things that's used to really influence your mind is sexuality. Sex is used to sell everything from toothpaste to outdoor grills. And in fact, let me give y'all something. This is how you can influence anybody. Anybody who's turned on by you, you can make a suggestion to them and they inclined to follow that suggestion, even if it's against their general principles. That's it. Boom. Because the thing is, when you slightly arouse, you're receptive, especially women. If I'm selling something to a woman, I already know. I'm just going to be real. I already know. I'm like, if she looking at me, she give me that look, I'm like, okay, I can get her to buy it. And I've actually had women to tell me, oh, I'm very influential. I'm very convincing. And it's like, no, you turned on, that relaxes you. Boom. That gets it in your mind. But once again, another tangent. When I'm just on here philosophizing, stuff just comes to me. I just let it go. But anyway, understand what we have out here. As soon as we wake up and start looking at our smartphone, there's a war for the mind. On a basic level to get you to buy something, on another level to get you to support a political cause, on a even macro level to get you to behave in a certain way as to keep the order. Like, you get people out here, you get small groups who talk about revolution and all of that, and they're going to change the system. Everything from the alt-right to, radical left groups, right? And then you get people out here who thinking, okay, I'm going to spread my religion, I'm going to spread my ideology. And, sometimes it's a large one like the major religions, but then I know some groups, personally know some people, they got ideologies that they're trying to spread. Right? They trying to convince everybody. It's like, oh, you should be following this. One of the things in the war for the mind, it's kind of vicious because people, they can get ruthless. It's like, you know what? Why don't you just fire a gun at me? At least I can hide behind something. But that thing is relentless, because one of the ways they'll do it, they're like, hey, you know what? They'll subtly make it seem like you're stupid for following whatever ideology that you are following and not what they want you to follow. I can think of one now. I ain't gonna put their stuff out there, but there's some people I know who are following a certain relationship style, and I kind of want to tell them, it's like, look, if y'all got it, just present it, but stop acting like people are stupid if they don't want to follow it. If they don't want to follow it, they don't want to follow it. But that's a war for the mind, because even it's deeper than even power or money and power. I got to say it in a different way, halfway dyslexic way. It's deeper than that, because when people have a perception of the world in a way it should be, one of the things that people do is try to get other people to follow that perception. They try to remake the world in their image. And it's not even and like I said, it ain't even as deep as money and power and stuff. People just want to be co-signed. That's why you will get people who will argue that you should do something a certain way. Like sometimes, like I've had people, right, and I usually delete them or block them or whatever, and they'll say, "Oh, you should do shorter videos. I don't like sitting through a long video." I'm like, "Don't watch." But they'll try to come at you a certain way to try to get you to bend to their will or try to break you. I mean, I've even had someone, and they thought, I don't know what they thought, but it's like they'll attack you for not thinking the way they think or doing something the way they want. And they don't really realize, but what it is most people want people to get people to think their way. Now, some can be benign about it. Some can be, they just do it, but they ain't going to try to force it. Then others try to force it, If you think about it, right, in countries where they have coups and stuff, violent coups, one of the first things they do is arrest writers and artists, even musicians. It's because those people can influence something. They can change people's minds and stuff. They have weapons in the war for a person's mind. But most people just have to settle for whatever reality they have. Like if you ever on any jobs or something, we all got that one boss or one person who ain't really a boss who try to get you to do things their way and then get mad at you when you don't. And it's unnecessary, but it's more like just a power move, right? But that's a war for the mind. That's on a small scale. Now, see, if you get somebody and I read a conspiracy book years ago, and the person had a great perspective on why they do it, because people read all the conspiracy stuff, and is everything from some satanic thing to aliens and all of that. But this one person had a great perspective on why these people would do what they do, the power elite. And dude was just like, shoot, you've got billions of dollars, shoot, you feel like you do what you want. It was like, oh, okay. And I mean, and you have that. That's why you got billionaires funding a lot of these groups out here. If you any movement, you start scratching beneath the surface. First of all, it takes money. Even if it's just money to get equipment, to pay for smartphones or whatever, to live. You start checking, there's some donations, and if you can find, if unless the donations are delivered in some briefcase with a bunch of $100 bills stacked up, there's usually a paper trail somewhere. Now, sometimes most people can keep it hidden. Sometimes people use like some of these crowdfunding things, right? But if you trace it back, it's traced back to somebody who has an agenda, who's trying to win the hearts and minds of people. Because that's the thing. That's the thing out here. And see, in that war for the mind, the most powerful weapon and also the most powerful defense is your mind. It's not the gun. You see, ultimately, you can't force a person with a gun, especially if that person isn't afraid to die. You can. And really, you're not forcing them. They just complying so you don't put a bullet in them. But if you can change somebody's mind, that's powerful. Because then that gets into their subconscious. And then you got them. So when you get elite people out here, or at least people in some position of power trying to convince other people, they going for that mind. That's the war. And in that war, that's why I'm critical of every single thing I see, every single thing I hear. I think about it. I mean, I've had people tell me I think too much. I've had several women tell me I think too much. I was like, no, I'm just a critical thinker. I don't accept anything. All right? Like, even what I'm saying, I don't want y'all to accept at face value what I'm saying. I want y'all to think about it. Seriously, I want everything I put out, I want y'all to think about it. I want y'all to do your own research. This ain't a dictatorship. See, my thing is, I don't need my purpose. I don't need to control people. And I don't need them to co-sign me. I'll put it like that. From my personal perspective, if I'm wrong about something, I'd rather find out I'm wrong. And like I said, I'm cool if you can be respectful about it. Only thing I would have a problem with, don't tell me what I've personally experienced, though. Now, if I just say, well, you know what, this is something I think about, this is something, and I can't really, if it's more actual theory, hey, if I'm wrong about it, or is incorrect, just let me know. But usually in that case, I'd usually say theory. I'll say, we might could do this. Like people will say, well, what's some stuff we can do to empower black people for the future, right? And I'm just like, well, this might work. Because even when people point to stuff that's happened in the past, I'm like, those empires fell. So what is it that, the most we could do with that is look at it and say, what did they do? Well, what was going on mentally? And then learn from it and then move forward, which I don't have a problem with. But yeah, just on that level though, I don't mind somebody hitting me with some new information, right? Because I'm going to, I want everybody to I want people to think. I want people, see, one of the things I want to do with this channel, I want people to have a stronger mind. I want them to be able to look at something and be a critical thinker. I want everyone to understand what's going on out here. Understand the battle. Like, I told some people I recently got a smartphone, right? And I remember I downloaded this app for a flashlight, right? And it said it contained ads, but I wasn't used to smartphones. And all of a sudden, I'm turning on the phone or something or taking it off the dark screen. And all of a sudden I got some ad for something. I'm like, what the fuck? I eventually got rid of it because I said I ain't need a flashlight anyway. It was just some extra shit I ain't really need. And I know somebody would probably tell me, oh yeah, you can get this app for free. Yeah, probably. But, it was a war for the mind. I mean, it's every time, commercials, even when I'm listening to the jazz station, if I look at every now and then, an ad will pop up on it. So I can't even so somebody's trying to convince me to get something I probably don't need anyway. So that war for the mind is deep, and it's always happening. It's happening every time you hear something, somebody talk to you. It's micro and it's macro. So just some things on it. So think on everything I'm saying. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.